What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV and welcome to the final Premier League Spur-Spective of the season, where me and Sim have gone head-to-head throughout the whole season predicting Premier League outcomes. We've got a scoring system. If you don't know by now, it's 5 points for a correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result, and the star man, once we've picked that man, we couldn't pick them again for the rest of the season, and it's 5 points for a goal, 3 points for an assist.
5 points for an assist, no?
Yeah, you wish. The scoring coming into it was 347 to 345, and basically it was a case of, did I become the Arsenal or did Sim become the Dortmund? We're about to find out. We're about to wait and find out. And first game of the day was Arsenal against Wolves. It finished 5-0 to Arsenal on the day. I went 2-0, Sim went 3-1. We both get a point here. Granit Xhaka gets a double on his last game for Arsenal, and Arsenal sign out in style.
Yeah, you expected against Wolves to have nothing to play for. Look, when there's nothing to play for, Arsenal are the best team in the league. And so they proved it once again. And the shackles were off. They ended the season in style. I'm not surprised that, once there was nothing to play for, they turned it on again. And that's it. I think if there was the title on the line, they probably would have bottled this game.
Do you reckon if Conte was the Arsenal manager, he'd be saying the same speech? Oh, these guys only play when there's no pressure.
He should. But look, apparently Arteta in the pre-match press conference denied that Xhaka was leaving, but we'll have to wait and see what's happened there. He did sign off with 2 goals. But there you go. They signed off in style.
All right. Moving on to Aston Villa against Brighton in a big game for our Conference League's hope. That's got dashed by Aston Villa beating Brighton 2-1 on the final game of the season. Both of us went for 2-1, so we both get 5 pointers in this one.
Yeah, and look, great win for Aston Villa. I was watching the highlights and they seem to create all the better chances. And look, I knew Unai Emery is such a smart coach, especially in these situations. He knows that Brighton are going to have a go, and even though they've got nothing to play for, they're going to keep playing the same way. He set up his team to exploit the space, and they did it expertly. They created the better chances. They ended up winning the game through goals from Luiz and Watkins. Brighton did get back in the game with a goal, but even the second half, it was only looking like Villa were going to score, and they deserved the victory and they deserved European football.
Yeah, and it was a result that kind of, obviously a loss is never going to suit you, but Brighton's job for the season had been done. They got European football, and Villa get a Conference League as well, so 2 big achievements for both these sides at the end of this season, to be fair.
And watch out for Emery next season in the Conference League. He's got a great record in Europe. I wouldn't be surprised if he really goes hard for that.
Yeah, completely agree. Moving on to Brentford against Manchester City. 1-0 to Brentford on the day. Finally, Manchester City lose for the first time in a very long time. Sim predicted that. He went 2-1 to Brentford, so he gets a point for that one. I went 2-1 to Man City, but credit to Brentford, albeit beating Man City side, which have focuses elsewhere, let's say.
Yeah, and it was a much changed lineup. No Haaland in the lineup as well. Fair play to Brentford. They knew if they can get a win, there was an outside chance of getting European football. They held it tight. They made sure that Man City weren't creating any easy chances, and with the much changed team as well, they did a good job of doing that, and then they got the late goal for Ethan Pinnock. They did get the win. Was enough for European football. But considering how last season went, that they were bad form, then Eriksen came in and they did really well. Then they lost Eriksen. There was a lot of talk about how well they're going to do this season. But 9th in the league, Thomas Frank is doing a fantastic job and great into the season for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to Chelsea against Newcastle. Finished 1-1 on the last game at Stamford Bridge. Both of us went for Newcastle wins. 2-0 to Sim, 1-0 to me, I went. And looking at the stats, it looked like it was all Chelsea, to be fair. 2.21 XG to 1.7 to Newcastle. 65% possession to Chelsea as well, and beat them in every metric possible, to be honest, in the stats.
So they had a good ending performance. Was enough for a win. A Kieran Trippier own goal was the goal. They finally ended the season with more goals than Erling Haaland, so they can be very proud with that, Chelsea. But what a disastrous season, ending up in 12th in the end, so terrible. Newcastle, they got the job done on Monday night against Leicester, so nothing much to play for. Gordon did get his first goal for them, so maybe that will be things for next season, but they can enjoy Champions League football now.
Yeah, well, to our detriment once again. But let's move on to Crystal Palace against Nottingham Forest. 1-1 in the last game at Selhurst Park. Sim went 3-0. I went 3-1. It was a 1-1 game. I don't think there was much in it this game, to be honest. Both teams had nothing to play for. Forest was already safe. Palace was secured mid-table. So just a drab game, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure from Palace's point of view, potentially Hodgson's last game as well, ending the season in front of the home fans, probably would like to have ended the season with a win, considering Forest have the worst away record in the league. alas, they couldn't do it. They got the 1-1 draw, but as you say, was a dead game anyway. But from the stats, it seemed though Palace probably were unlucky not to win, but there you have it.
Everton against Bournemouth in a really important clash at the bottom. Everton knew all they had to do was win and their safety was secure, and that they did. 1-0 against Bournemouth. Sim went 1-1. I went 1-0 to Everton, so I get a big fat 5-pointer and take the lead in the last week of the Spur-Spective. And I was following this game, and to be honest, Everton were knocking on the door throughout the game, and then they were knocked, and finally someone answered and they got the goal and they stay up.
Yeah, there were a few hairy. I was watching the highlights, so there was a few hairy moments for Everton and down the other end where they could have conceded. But by and large, Everton for sure were creating a lot of the good chances. And I think Sean Dyche clearly had a game plan going to this game. Make sure that you don't leave anything but 3 points going into this game. And without Calvert-Lewin, you do worry like where the goal was going to come from, but they got one in the end. A great finish by Decore on the edge of the box, fired it home, and that secured safety for them. Massive, massive win and another pitch invasion.
Yeah. Next up, Leeds against Tottenham. 4-1 to Spurs on the day. Sim went 3-1. I went 2-2. Sim missing out on a 5-pointer by the skin of his teeth. Lucas Moura coming on and getting a 95th minute goal to secure only a 1 point for Simeon in this game. I get 0 points, but look, comprehensive victory for Spurs here.
Yeah, we deserved it in the end. I think we were the ones creating all the better chances on the counter-attack, exploiting the space. Brilliant finishes from Harry Kane. Great performance from Porro as well. Thank you so much, Lucas, for giving your best moment of the season till this time. I appreciate it. Good send-off for you. I'm not bitter about it at all.
Everyone, just go watch the watch-along highlights and you'll see it all play out in real time. We'll come back to this moment at the end. Leicester against West Ham, 2-1 to Leicester on the day. Sim went 1-0 to Leicester, so he gets a point. I went 2-1 to Leicester, so I get a big fat 5-pointer for this one. And West Ham scoring a consolation with 10 minutes to go gets grabbed with my 5 points.
Yeah, but
West Ham, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Leicester wasn't enough to keep them up. They are now a championship side 8 years after winning the Premier League. Unbelievably, they're now going to be in the championship with that squad as well. It's nothing short of a disgrace. They've been relegated. Yeah. They did the job on the final day, to be fair, but unfortunately for them, they're relying on other results. Wasn't enough. And let's be honest, it was too little, too late. At the end of the day, they had chances previously to get points on the board. They failed miserably. They've had really pivotal games. I think the Everton at home game when they missed a penalty at 2-1 up and then they end up drawing 2-2. That's probably the one they'll look back on that cost them their Premier League status.
They should never have gone to that anyway. I mean, they're more than good enough for a top half finish. Never mind mid-table fighting for relegation or stuff like that. With the players that they have at their disposal, going down is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, and you've got to fear for their future now. Their squad's probably set to be stripped. They're in financial trouble as well. So whether they make it straight back up remains to be seen. Dean Smith, I don't think is going to be there next season as well. Chance. So got to be worried if you're a Leicester fan.
Yeah. Next up, Manchester United against Fulham, with two teams with nothing to play for. Man United had secured Champions League football in their previous game. 2-1 they won by. Sim went for 2-1 to Fulham. I went 1-0 to Man United, so I gain a point on this one. It looked like Man United did deserve the win. It looks like Fulham did have some chances as well, but albeit didn't see much of the game.
Yeah, I think that Mitrovic missed penalty might have cost me here, but it was obviously they're 1-0 up, and then Mitrovic does get the penalties saved by De Gea. I don't know why he keeps taking penalties because he has a really shoddy record of penalties, Mitrovic, and it showed again. Man United ended up turning it around. Sancho and Bruno Fernandes with a vital win, and well, not vital, but a good win for them going before the FA Cup final. So probably morale boosting. They get third place, and Ten Hag rounds off what has been, whatever happens in the FA Cup final, it's been a pretty good first season for him.
Yeah. And last but not least, Southampton against Liverpool, which was definitely the game of the day. 4-4 on the day. Sim went 4-0 to Liverpool. I went 3-0 to Liverpool. But what a game this was. They go 2-0 up after 15 minutes, and you're thinking, wow, this is going to be a bit of a cricket score here as we predicted. But Southampton dug in. They fought back. They got level before half-time. Sulemana put some 3-2 up just after the break, and then 4-2 up with half an hour, 25 minutes to go. But Liverpool dug deep and got the draw at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's probably one of those end of season games where both teams have nothing to play for. They kind of just went hell for leather, and it was a goal fest essentially. Amazingly, Salah didn't get on the score sheet, but there you go. It was 4-4 draw.
He got you an assist. Don't worry about that. But let's move on to the star men. As mentioned, Sim did pick Mohamed Salah, who got 2 points. I picked Julian Alvarez, who got 0 points. So that brings an end to the Spur-Spective this year. It's been a battle all the way through, and I thought I was going to Arsenal up, to be honest. I really did. Going into the I was pretty much leading throughout the whole season, and then Sim pips me the last week of the season, very similar to Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, but quality shone through at the end of the day, and I won. Lucas Moura did it for me. It was Lucas Moura.
Thank you, Lucas, for all your time at Spurs, but fuck you. That's all I got.
Big up, Lucas Moura. Thanks for the memories, and we'll definitely miss you. And look, obviously that night in Amsterdam is going to top everything, but this comes a very close second.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I can't believe it. He picked the only moment to do something good. It had to be in that moment. But
and to be honest, he's probably cost you points in his 2 screw ups in the last previous games.
Yeah, I think so as well. Oh, Lucas Moura. Oh, fair play. Look, he scored a great goal, gave you the win. I'm sure you'll be getting a framed picture of that goal in your bedroom.
100%.
Oh, I've proper Dortmund it. But look, it was a good end to the season. Amazingly enough, after that Salah assist, it means for the star men, we've finished level with 83 points each.
Wow, that's
the star
nuts.
man
That's nuts.
over the whole season. So we're quite even picking when it comes to the star men, but when it came to the results,
yeah, still very. I mean, 359 to 362. I mean, it was very, very tight, and
it was a roller coaster.
To be honest, 2 weeks ago I was like 30 points ahead. Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
And then I clawed it back, and it's been a very touring. If you've been following it throughout the whole season, I'm sure you've had a great time watching it. But there you go. Congratulations to my brother Ben. He's
Come on.
this season.
Second title, that is. 2 for me, 1 for you. Big up. Thank you, everyone, for watching this year, the Spur-Spective. We'll be back next year for a whole another year of Prem predictions. Look, if you want to see any changes in the rules, because we did make a few adjustments from last season for this year, if you want to see some more adjustments, let us know in the comment section below what you would like to see. But thank you, everyone, for watching us throughout the season. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.